Namaste and welcome to the second episode of the Cricket Preview podcast. And today's episode, we'll be talking about T20 World Cup starting June 1st in USA and West Indies. Jay, how excited are you about it?
Hello, Sudeep, and hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to this really special episode where we will be previewing Nepal cricket team who is preparing for the T20 Cricket World Cup. I'm really excited. It's less than a month now, so it's getting closer. The team is all set. I think they played their last game before the World Cup. So yeah, really excited. Can't wait for it to start. How about you?
Yeah, just for our viewers, this we are recording this just after Nepal versus West Indies A series, and by the time this podcast comes out, Nepal team must have landed in US. Yes, I'm very much excited about it. World Cup is a big event that we wait. In case of cricket, it's happening every year, but T20 World Cup happens every 2 years, and Nepal is playing. So I'm very, very much excited about it. The last time we saw Nepal in World Cup was 10 years ago in 2014, where we defeated our then competitor Afghanistan and lost to Bangladesh. Otherwise, that could have been a great tournament. But still, that was a big achievement for Nepal cricket. And now we are watching it after 10 years. But Nepal had a very good recent series against West Indies A. We played some very good positive cricket, although we lost 3-2 the series. But still, it was very exciting. And you had an opportunity to watch it firsthand from TU Kirtipur ground. How was the experience? How was the experience of being 12th man in Rhino's team?
You're right. I think, yeah, I was lucky enough. It was a privilege to be at the TU Cricket Ground for the very first T20 game between Nepal and West Indies A. I think I was there for the Nepal's game, I think 8 years before, where Nepal beat Kenya. But I think this time around it was much different, much improved. The crowd was absolutely unbelievable. I think there were about 20,000 people for the first game, and it was a great game. West Indies batted first and made 200 plus, and I think for a moment it felt like it was a little too many for Nepali batters, but Rohit Kumar Paurel, the captain, led from the front and made a fantastic century. It was unbelievable to be at the crowd to witness that live. The crowd were electric that day, and I think it would be fair to say that the crowd inspired the team to the victory, really, because the crowd for the first game, I think, was the best one. So, yeah, really enjoyed it. Felt really nice to be watching the team before the World Cup. I think the team looks really, really ready. The fielding was the highlight for me. I think the team has really improved in the fielding compared to the previous years. Everybody looks fit and running around the ground. So, yeah, it was really a lifetime experience. So I really enjoyed it. So, how about you? Did you follow the series from your TV screen, Sudeep?
Yes, of course. I didn't have the privilege you had from watching it live, but I, of course, watched it from my TV screen. And it was a very good series. And I was kind of jealous of your photos from the ground that you were sending me. But I'm sure you had a very good experience. And as all Nepali fans, we are also excited about the World Cup. We had a very interesting road reaching to this World Cup. It was not that straightforward, ups and downs. And it was a very good experience as a fan, to be honest. What's your feeling on that road of the Rhinos to the World Cup?
You're right. I think qualifying for a big event like T20 World Cup is never easy. I think we cannot take it for granted because we remember last time, like you mentioned before, when we qualified for the 2014 World Cup, I think that really put Nepal at the big stage. I'm sure you remember. You remember we were both watching the games from our hostel during our undergrad days. So yeah, it was really a good memory. I think something that inspired the whole nation. People like you and me, I think, grew up watching the likes of Paras Kharka, Ganendra Malla, Sharad Veswakar, and Sakti Gochan. Let's not forget. make that journey. I think that inspired this team. I think a lot of players who will be the part of this World Cup are inspired from that World Cup. Was watching an interview recently, and yeah, Kushal Malla, captain himself. I think the generation has been inspired. So, like you mentioned, the road is never easy for Nepal because you have the competitors like UAE, Oman, Hong Kong are always a good side. So I think this time around, Nepal were slightly lucky that we got to play the qualifier in our home cricket ground, and we all know that we play our best cricket, and the home ground always inspires the team to make the most of our cricket, to play the brand of cricket in front of the roaring crowd. I think, if I remember correctly, Nepal were placed in group with Oman, Singapore, and Malaysia. We won two. We lost to Oman in the last group game, and because of that, we had to play at Mulpani Cricket Ground. If you remember, we couldn't play the semi-final, which we had to win to make it to the World Cup. We played it at the Mulpani. It was still a full house. It was we played our rivals. I think the biggest rivalry in Asian Associate Cricket, Nepal versus UAE. We had to beat them, and we did. I think we bowled first, and we restricted UAE to a modest total of about 130 odd. And despite some early setback, I think we chased that quite comfortably with 8 wickets to spare. Mohammad Asif, I think, made 60 odd, and captain Rohit Kumar Porel was not out with 30 odd. So I still remember Andrew Leonard, who's famously known as Takludai, and that moment, because I think he said something like, Captain Rohit Kumar Porel comes back for two and takes Nepal to the global stage after 10 long years. So yeah, that still gives me goosebumps whenever I watch it. So yeah, the road has been tough, but I think these boys deserve it. It was a tough road to the World Cup, and I think these guys will enjoy and just show their talent at the global stage.
So yeah, very interesting. You have put, I think, the whole roller coaster. Not only Nepal team had to go through, but the 12th man, the Nepali fans had to go through that, because at the moment we thought, no, we are never going to make it, because we almost had to win all the games. But the team did it. Do you think the change in the coaching staff? I think we had the change in that as well during that time. How much do you think that had impacted, and how much Monty Desai brings in the team?
Oh, absolutely. I think we cannot overstate the fact, the impact Monty Desai and his coaching team, along with the 12th man, has had in the success of this team. Especially, I think he took over less than 2 years ago, and within that short span of time, we could see a big improvement in all aspects of Nepal cricket, really, including batting, bowling, fielding, but also outside. We've had quality games. We've had consistent fixtures. We have had the teams like West Indies come to Nepal. So I think these all was not possible before. So yeah, the coaching staff, especially Monty Desai, deserves a huge credit. His philosophies, his ideas of one ball battles and happy dressing room has really played a big role. And I think the young team under the captaincy of Rohit Kumar Porel has really bought into it. And I think within this space of 2 years, we have retained our ODI status, qualified for the Asia Cup, and now we'll be playing the major T20 World Cup. So I think it's really amazing the way the fortunes have changed. I think Monty Desai and his team really deserves a big credit. And I think after Pubudu Dasanaika, who was one of the stalwart of Nepal cricket, I think his name is going to go down in the folklores of Nepal cricket. And I hope long may the run continue.
Yes, and I think the crowd loves Ponti Desai as well. I have seen him passing the water to the crowd, and he's you can't hate him. He's such a nice guy. I just remember a story. I went to play cricket in Atlanta, just a local cricket game, and I met one of the Pakistani guy, and he said that he knew Monty Desai, and he was excited when I told him that I am from Nepal. He was excited that okay, he has met Monty Desai, and he's the nicest person who's going to take Nepal team forward, and his whatever he said is coming true for the Nepali fans. So it's a very good time for Nepali cricket. And I think all the fans are hoping that this continues for a long, long time.
Absolutely. And I think, especially not just qualifying to the World Cup, I think the future looks really good under Monty Desai and his coaching team. So really excited about it. Right. So coming back to the World Cup, this is a special World Cup. Like we already talked, Nepal being qualified always makes it special. But there's also something special about this World Cup. It's not only happening here at the United States and Caribbean, which is exciting, but it's slightly different than other T20 World Cups. What do you think, Sudeep?
Yes, Nepal being there is, of course, the exciting thing. But I think the most improved thing that ICC has done is its formatting. The format this year has allowed more associate nations to compete with the big boys of the cricket. And this is really a big opportunity for Nepal and other associate nations to play with big boys. And saying that, we have four groups, Group A, B, C, and D. Group A is already very much popular because of India versus Pakistan happening in New York. I think they're still laying down the pitches, or I think they laid down the pitches. So I think the ground is already ready for the big India versus Pakistan clash. And there are nations, Ireland is there, Canada and USA is there. So going to be a good group, but still, India Pakistan will be a big match as always. Group B again has exciting England versus Australia in the group. Always fun to watch Australian cricket. They are always the contenders. And Pat Cummins the other day said Australia is going to qualify, and he doesn't care about who the other three teams are going to be in the semifinals. So he's pumped up. Group C has mighty West Indies. We recently played against them, but their main team is going to be a threat to the tournament. So ready for that. Afghanistan, we were with them sometimes in 2014. They were our competitors, but they are there. So I'm really excited about them. And good boys of cricket, New Zealand, are also in Group C. But the big group for us is Group D. Nepal is placed in Group D. Very, very much excited about it. We are going to face Asian giants, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Netherlands, our competitor. We have played a lot of games against them. And South Africa is the big one in that group. We have never played against South Africa, but this is going to be a real opportunity for our boys. But I found this format very interesting because this is the first round, and from this, top two teams of each group will go to Super 8. And in Super 8, again, there will be two groups, and two groups. And from those two groups, top two teams will go to the semifinals. It's still confusing. I still like the format of quarterfinals, semifinals is straightforward, but I think we have to accept ICC is trying to make some changes, so it's good. Still, it's confusing. Could have been very clear, but I'm very happy that associate nations are getting more chances. What do you think about it, Jay?
Oh yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think this really feels like World Cup in a proper sense, because previous years we've been having discussions about 8 teams, 10 teams in a World Cup. That really doesn't feel like a World Cup, if you ask me. Because if you want to really make the game global, especially in the T20 format, I think there is room for expanding the World Cup to a larger pool of teams. And I think it's a start. If you remember, 2014 was the first World Cup when ICC had 16 teams, and that's when Nepal qualified before. So a lot of people sometimes ask questions like, why did it take 10 years for Nepal to qualify? It's probably because there were not enough teams allowed to play, because the bigger the tournament gets, I think it gives opportunities to the countries who don't have the same infrastructure, economy, revenue, and all those things than the big boys. I think it really makes it a big global event. So I'm really excited. I think it's a positive step. I agree with you. I still like the quarterfinal, semifinal format. So maybe in the future it could go to 32 teams. I think teams are making good progress across the globe. So maybe, I don't know, in 8 years' time, we could see a real 32 teams cricket World Cup. Who knows? So it's really exciting. So coming back to the big group of death, or group of Nepal, Group D. So Like you mentioned, I think South Africa are the big boys in this group, no doubt about that. Sri Lanka are always really good in the World Cup, so they'll. I think those two teams realistically will be competing for the top two spots, but you cannot underestimate Bangladesh or Netherlands and Nepal for that matter because it's T20 and it's when you when it's your day, it gives the maximum opportunity for you to make an upset. And I can see plenty of upsets happening in this World Cup. I don't think it's going to be as straightforward as it looks. As we recall, Netherlands did make a couple of upsets, beating I think South Africa in the previous ODI World Cup. So they will be eager to create that. So which will be good for Nepal because we start our tournament against Netherlands. So I think first game on June the 4th in Dallas against Netherlands is really going to be an important one, and I think that's going to set the tone for Nepal, isn't it?
Yes, I think if anyone had given a choice, I would always keep Nepal in this group because we never know. It's Sri Lanka is not in that format that we are known for, but still a good team. Bangladesh, we have competed with them, and Netherlands, we are playing with them. So we never know. We have won few matches. So with Netherlands, we have played 12 games so far, and Netherlands have won six, and we have won five. So it may be it's the best opportunity to make it 6-6, and. So that's why first game we have to put our foot right on, and I'm sure Dallas is gonna have a big Nepali crowd. I'm doubtful if there will be any Netherlands crowd. So 12th man, Rhinos will be there in Dallas. So really, that game is gonna be very important for Nepal. The second game they're gonna play, there's a week gap. It's on 11 June in Sri Lanka. That's in against Sri Lanka. That is in Florida. And again, there's going to be a lot of Nepali crowd and supporting Nepal. And there may be some Sri Lankan crowd as well because they are a good cricketing nation. It will be there. But we have never played against Sri Lanka, so that will be a new and big opportunity for the boys. And I hope they take it, they grasp it very fruitfully. The next game, then I think the Nepal team is traveling to West Indies, where we are going to play against South Africa and Bangladesh. South Africa is going to be a real big and interesting challenge and a good opportunity for boys for the Rhinos against Bangladesh. I'm looking for a tough fight, and I'm hoping that game goes against with Nepal. And like I'm saying, this is a very interesting group, and I am hoping that South Africa and Nepal are going to make through this group. Do you think any upset are going to happen in any other group or this group for say? What are your hopes?
You mentioned before, I think in 2014, Nepal had the chance to make it to the next round if they had beaten Bangladesh, and we may have that opportunity again. So I think
Yeah, true.
if we get to that stage at this World Cup, it will already be a really good World Cup for Team Nepal. So I think, like you mentioned, the first game against Netherlands is going to be really important. We have to absolutely win this game, and we may need some help, I guess, from the likes of Netherlands and Bangladesh. So if they create some upset, beating South Africa or Sri Lanka, we could have an even chance. I think we need to win at least 3 games to have a realistic chance of qualifying. Let's face it, we will still be underdogs from the group, but if we play to our best brand of cricket in T20 format, I think we can give anybody a game, as we saw against the West Indies A team recently at TU Cricket Ground. Because let's not forget, it had already had 12 players who were capped for West Indies, so it was slightly depleted West Indies side because some of the big names are still playing the IPL, but it was still a formidable West Indies bowling lineup, especially with the likes of Austin Thomas bowling 145 to 150 clicks. So I think the boys are capable. Let's not put pressure on them, but the hope of the nation are with them. So yeah, we can only wish them luck, and I'm quite positive. I think the team has prepared really well leading up to the World Cup. I was listening to the interview of Paras Kharka, who is the secretary of CAN now. He said he has no expectations, but I think the nation has plenty of expectations. He also said that we still have 4 or 5 more games that we will play leading up to the World Cup. So I think there are a couple of warm-up games against USA and Canada, and maybe some other games in West Indies and USA. So the schedule looks really good. The boys have plenty of opportunity to prepare and acclimatize to the conditions. So yeah, let's hope for the best. The only thing that's not in our favor, I guess, is the fixtures. We have really from the second game onwards, we're playing every 2 or 3 days, and also traveling from the United States to West Indies in between. So that's going to be tricky. If we can handle that well, and yeah, the boys are well rested and they focus on the one ball battles, I think it's possible. I'm really hopeful. How about you? What do you think?
I guess any team chasing 200 against West Indies, it's A. I know it's A, but they had a very good name staying there. So Nepal, no one can underestimate Nepal, and Nepal had shown that in the past. So I'm sure no one is taking Nepal lightly. So that is a boost up for Nepal, of course. Yes, the schedule is a little tight, but I guess the boys are used to playing every day. I remember Kushal Gultel in an interview. He went to play to Australia, I guess, and he was like, they play just only on weekends, and we are used to playing every day. So I think our boys are already ready to play every day if it has to happen. So this group is very interesting, and we are really, really hopeful. Talking about the preparation, 15 team squad has been announced for Nepal, led by our own Rohit Paudel. What do you think about the squad?
Yeah, I saw the squad. I think they announced it between the West Indies series, and it's always disappointing for people who don't make it, as you can imagine. But I think, based on what we've seen, Nepal has played a relatively small pool of players, about let's say 16 to 20. And when the 15 was announced, I don't think there was any name that came out of blue, or people said, "Where did he come from?" So there were no surprises there. I think Rohit Paudel has led this team fantastically from whenever he's taken the reins, and the leadership group. Although they haven't announced any vice captain for the tournament, I think the likes of Sompal, Karan, and Dipendra Singh Airi will be the part of the leadership group. So, yeah, I think in general the team looks really solid. I think one of the changes that we've seen since Monty, especially, had took over the reins, has been that it's more of a team now, because in the past it used to be really dependent on a few players. If you remember, there were times when, if Paras Kharka or Garendra Malla used to go out early, there was a collapse almost. So these days we see team performing, so people step up. So I think overall it looks a really balanced side. I think some names like Vivek Yadav might consider himself a little bit unlucky to miss out, but I think you will understand. And he's a part of the reserves along with, I think, Akash Chand, Lokesh Bum, and also Vinod Pandari. So they will most likely be traveling with the team. So they will be the part of it. So I think, along with the 15s that have been selected and the 4 reserves, I think this is the best team that the CAN has picked up. And I think we should back our boys 100%. And with their preparations and their form and the fight they showed in the recent series, I think these boys are ready to give their best. What do you think?
I think, to be honest, Can and Demonte Desai have done a great job. They gave, even in the last series, they gave a chance to most of the individuals, and there was experiment going on. Even in such a big series, they experimented. They gave chance to everyone, and then they picked the 15. So. To be honest, this is very fair and square. Yes, always you can think why not this and why this, but to be honest, this is the perfect 15, and I'm really happy about it. And I think all the Nepali fans are backing them. There's no doubt. This is our team, Nepal. So everyone is gonna back them up. and everyone has got their fair chances. So, and we have seen all of them play, and you recently saw them very closely. So, what do you think gonna be playing 11 of first if you have like first picking 11 for the Nepal team, let's say against Netherlands?
Yeah, I'm not sure even Monty Desai or Rohit Paurel knows that yet, but we can try. We can try to come up. I think, let's say, I think 8 or 9 names are pretty certain. Mohammad Asif and Kusal Burtil would open the innings. I'm pretty sure that is not going to change. Rohit Paurel, who is in excellent form, who was the player of the series and who almost single handedly carried the team during that series, especially with the bat. I think there's no doubt that he's going to come at number 3. 4, 5, 6 are going to be flexible. I think those 3 are always flexible in T20 cricket, depending on the situation. But it's almost certainly going to be Kushal Malla and Dipendra Singh Airi at 4 and 5, depending on. And it could be either Anil Kumar Shah or Sandeep Johra. So I'm sure they will go with one of those 2 batsmen. Most likely, I think Sandeep Johra would be the first pick based on his form. And especially Anil being a top order batsman rather than a middle order batsman. I think after that, there's Gulshan Jha, who has come leaps and bounds with his batting and also improving with his bowling. So I think he's a really good all rounder to have at number 7. Then there are 2 medium pacers, Sompal Kami and Karan Casey, who can both bat. So that's a really advantage in T20 cricket. Sompal Kami, as you remember, showed his batting against India in the Asia Cup. So he's really capable of chipping in with some big hits, including Karan Casey, who we all remember, the Valentine boy with the special knock. So I think after that, we'll have one spinner at least. I think they will start with Lalit Rajbamshi, who is a left arm orthodox spinner. They will also have Avinash Bora, who is the death bowling specialist. The last position, I'm not sure. They will. Is that the 11 already, or they still have one more?
I think you went through the 11 already.
Yeah, I think that's the 11.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the
yeah.
11.
I
So
think
yeah,
Yeah, I think we are pretty much covered up with the pace attack. The dead bowling attack was a concern real little while ago, but we have covered it up after we got our bowling coach Roddy. So I think that all the bases are covered. Lalit Bansi is going to be our out and out spinner. I think he's going to play all the matches for us. And the advantage for the team is that our all top orders are going to bowl, and they are very good bowlers. We have seen Rohit Paurel, Kushal Malla, and Dipendra Singh Ari all chipping in to take wickets. So this is, I think, pretty much very balanced squad. And what a captain looks for, we have 7 bowlers. I think the day we need, we'll have 7 bowlers to bowl to. So this is pretty much, and I think you picked a very good 11. You may get a call from Monty Desai soon. So, but saying that, this is yeah, and I think we have perfect replacements as well. So what do you think about the pitches that's going to be? We don't know anything about US pitches, how it's going to happen, but we know a little bit about West Indies pitches, how they may look like. So based on that, what changes do you think you can make in your 11?
yeah, like you mentioned, I think as we also saw from other squads, I think India went really heavy on spin. They picked 4 spinners in their squad. So Nepal has, I think it's more heavy on the pace attack. We have 4 out and out pace bowlers, but I think there are 2 spinners, Lalit and Sagar, who performed really well in the West Indies series. So I think I'm not ruling Sagar out yet. He really stepped up in the West Indies series. So if they want to tweak the balance a little bit and go with 2 spinners or maybe have a different options, I think Sagar could make it to the XI. I think Pratish DC bowled really well against the West Indies team. So he offers a different avenue to the pace bowling because he's a left armer. So, and he has a lot of variations. He can bowl his cutters and he can also bowl some Yorkers. So I think I'm not ruling him out. I think Karan Casey might be rotated with Pratish or maybe Sompal might be rotated. So I think they have all bases covered really. And like you mentioned, uh, having your top order batsman who can bowl really helps. I think Kushal Burtil has not been clicking as much as he would like with the bat, but we all know what a stroke maker he is. I think he's going to be. I'm hoping he's going to step up with the bat, but let's not forget his leg spin, because he really showed against West Indies that he has stepped up, and I think he's practicing his legs a lot more now. So he's going to be handy, I feel, in the West Indies, where especially in the West Indies, where pitches are going to spin. So I really hope that he clicks with the bat, because when he's in form, he's probably the best stroke maker along with Kushal Malla that we have in our team. So I'm really hoping for that. And yeah, Asif Sheikh always steps up in the big games, like he did against the UAE when we had to win to make it to the World Cup, and also in the last match against West Indies A team. So he's looking in good form. Rohit Kumar Paurel, like we all know, he's in the red hot form. He was absolutely amazing, including the, I think, one century and two back-to-back 50s and not out innings in the final. So he looks good. Kushal Malla was struggling a little bit in the first few matches, but he also seems to be coming back to rhythm with the final game of the series. So that's a really positive side. We all know what Dipendra Singh Ivy can do when he is in full flow. The man who has the record for the fastest T20 50 in 9 balls, and who has 6 sixes. So he is always going to be there and thereabout. And I think Nepal will rely really heavily on him on finishing in the last few overs. So, and Sandeep Jora has been in good form, especially in the ACC Premier Cup, which was not really good for Nepal in terms of batting, but he was, I guess, the one signing light who performed consistently in that series. So I think the coaching team, will back him to come and kind of be a floater in this team, because if the wickets go early, he can come up before Kushal Malla and steady the ship, but he can also play some big hits. And like we mentioned, Sompal, Karan Casey, and Gulshan Jha, they can all bat and ball. So I think the squad looks really balanced. I think we couldn't ask for a better squad, really. And the team has a mixture of youth as well as experience. Let's not forget Sompal Kami, who played the 2014 World Cup. So he's going to be the only player who will play uh, two World Cups for Nepal as it stands. So it's really not an easy achievement for a fast bowler to have that kind of consistency, especially at the national level. So he's going to be a really important factor. He bowled really well in that last match against West Indies, taking 3 or 4 wickets. So he looks in good rhythm. Yeah, I think overall, and talking about the backups, like we mentioned, Sagar Dakal, Kamal Singhari looks to be back fit from the injury, so he looks good. We mentioned Pratish Jha. So I think, yeah, overall the team looks really good. Even the traveling reserves, Vivek, Akash, Lokesh, and Bino, they can come in whenever, if and when they're needed. So I think the team looks really good. It all depends on how we perform and showcase our talent come the big day. What do you think?
And I think the best thing that has happened to the Nepal team in the recent tournaments is like different individuals have won us the game at different times. So everyone knows, each and every one of them know how to win a big game. So not worried about if the openers don't play well. We have 4, 5, 6 very well played who have won us the game, so they know how to win the games. And if that doesn't work, we have like Sompal Kami, Gulshan Jha, and Karan Casey coming lower down the orders who can win us the games with the bat. So it's pretty well balanced side. Kushal Burtel, he's known to play the big game. So this is the big tournament. He's going to come up. And because he's in the team, he's bowling well, he's taking wickets. So it's not that he's not contributing. He's already contributing. So I'm sure he's high in confidence and he is going to contribute in this tournament. I like Kushal Malla a lot. Like he's a free hitting youngster we need in the middle. If we are stuck somewhere, he's going to come up and give us some big strokes and take the run rate up ahead. So yes, this is pretty much balanced team. But I have to ask you this. Sorry, if I have to ask you this question, if you had to pick two players who are going to shine out for Nepal in this tournament, who do you pick?
That's a good question. I'm backing Kushal Burtel because he can bowl, and I'm hoping and I'm confident that he'll come up with the goods with the bat. We all saw his fluent stroke play against India in the Asia Cup. and when he's in full flow, I think he's going to be the man to keep an eye on. I think with the bat, and ball, of course, I'm backing Kushal. With the ball, I'm going with Sompal, the Gulmi Express, the man with all the experience, the man who is going to lead the pace attack. I think he's going to come good. He's shown good rhythm. Hopefully, he doesn't have to bat too much, but even if it's needed, I think he's going to uh, make some good contribution with the bat. So I'm backing Kushal, Vurtil, and Sompal. How about you? Who do you think is going to be performing for
I
Nepal? Who
think
is
in the squad, I have to say, Lalit Rajbanshi has to play a very big role because there may be the slow pitches where it's going to turn rank square sometimes in a day. Because let's be honest, in USA in June, it's going to be day games, so it's going to be hot, and those wickets are going to be really, really good for the spinner. So Lalit Rajbanshi is my pick, and I'm sure he's going to do very well. If we come to the batting, I'm gonna be, I think, recent bias Rohit Paudel in a hot form, coming up with a century, almost won us the second game as well. So I'm going with Rohit and Lalit as my top two picks in the squad. So, Jay, the team looks good. The preparation looks very good, and all of us are very excited about it. But what do you think should be the real expectations out of Group D for Nepal, and how much should we be prepared for it? What do you think?
That's a tough one because as a 12th man, as a fan, I really hope, I expect the team to do the best. I think they have prepared well. Like you mentioned, they fought against West Indies. So I'm feeling really positive. I think this is going to be the tournament that's going to put Nepal in the global map. I think the guys are going to put their best step forward. I think the world will notice how good some of these players are. Uh, we hear about Rohit's name being talked in the Caribbean Premier Leagues. So I think realistically looking, I think the boys will put themselves in the map. Again, it depends on what you expect and how you measure success. I think if you see it from a group perspective, I think we have to accept that we will be the underdogs. There is no doubt about that. I think nobody will give Nepal real chance to make out of the group, which is a good thing because I think the players can play freely without much expectation. Of course, there is going to be expectations from the 12th man, the Rhino Army. That is always going to be there. But I think realistically, there is not going to be a lot of pressure. I think the pressure is going to be against with the teams, whoever is going to play in Nepal. So I think if we play freely, the positive brand of cricket, the brand of cricket Monty Desai has been imparting on the team. I think I see a really good World Cup for the team. I think it really depends on how we start. If you want to go into the nitty gritty of it, I think the first game on June the 4th against Netherlands is going to really determine and set the tone for what the World Cup is going to look like. But I think if we win that game and fight against the big boys and give ourselves the best chance against the likes of Sri Lanka and South Africa, and have a chance against Bangladesh, I think we'll be having a really good World Cup. And I think this is going to inspire a lot of people back home. It's going to give a lot of joy, maybe some heartbreak, but mostly it will give us all the opportunity to really see how we compare against the big boys. I think it is we always had the dream of seeing the team at the World Cup, and it's going to come true. So I think we should all enjoy it. The players should all enjoy it, and it should be celebrated rather than having a lot of expectations on the team. How do you feel? Are you feeling excited, positive?
Honestly saying, very, very much exciting. And as you said, it all boils down to how are we going to start the tournament. And of course, with the support of 12 man of Rhino's army, we are going to do well. But the most important thing it's going to impact is the young generation coming up who are going to watch us play at least 4 games against the big boys. That's going to give us a young generation of cricketers who are going to represent us in the future. So I think that's the most exciting thing that's going to be. We were inspired, and some of the players that are in the team now were inspired, and they are doing so well now in the team. So really looking forward for it. Really happy for the team, and really happy for the fans as well, who will get to watch the World Cup live. And saying that, we'll have to conclude our today's episode. But for our viewers, we are going to do post-match review after all the games of Nepal. There are going to be 4 episodes at least. And we hope we are going to do more in other groups as well. But keep watching us. And thank you, Jer, for your time.
Thank you, Sudeep. It was really a special episode. And whenever we talk about Nepal cricket, we are always really happy. And to talk about Nepal at the world stage at T20 World Cup, it was a pleasure. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Please give us your feedback in the comments, and also your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, not only our YouTube channel, but also follow us in the social media across Instagram and Twitter. We will probably do some live sessions, and yeah, we have lined up some special interviews and also special episodes in the future. So stay tuned and keep watching and keep following cricket. Take care, everyone.